Keir Starmer flew to the G7 summit, hoping to project strength on the world stage. But back home, the cracks are already showing. Just hours after making bold claims about tackling illegal migration, his own government quietly admitted the truth. And it's far worse than he let on. The pressure is mounting, the numbers are rising, and the Prime Minister's credibility is on the line. Starmer is facing renewed criticism after comments made at the G7 summit appear to downplay the scale and urgency of Britain's migrant crisis, only for Downing Street to later admit the situation is actually getting worse. While speaking to the press, the Prime Minister said he wants to see more cooperation in northern France and confirmed he had raised the issue of channel crossings with French President Emmanuel Macron. Starmer claimed that tackling illegal migration was a priority and that he was committed to smashing the gangs involved in people smuggling. But just hours later, a Number 10 spokesperson confirmed that the channel crisis is deteriorating. The spokesman said migration should be a key focus given the deteriorating situation in the Channel, and that both sides should continue to work with partners to find innovative ways to tackle the issue. This admission stands in stark contrast to the message Starmer projected at the summit, suggesting more progress than the facts actually support. Since Starmer became Prime Minister in July 2024, small boat crossings have continued at pace. On March 26, just under 9 months into his premiership, it was confirmed that 30,000 people had crossed the English Channel during his time in office. That same day, total crossings for 2025 had already hit 6,100 combined. Nearly 40,000 migrants have crossed since Starmer took office. Over 2,000 people made the journey in small boats in the last week alone, with at least 250 more crossing on the day of publication. If you're finding these numbers as shocking as I am, make sure to subscribe for more updates on this developing story. Starmer's government has faced repeated questions about whether they are doing enough. Labour came under particular fire after Treasury Minister Darren Jones, during an appearance on BBC Question Time, claimed that a majority of small boat migrants were women and children. His comment came in response to Reform UK Deputy Leader Zia Youssef, who challenged Labour's record on border enforcement. Jones responded by saying he went out on a border force boat and what he saw were children, babies and women. This was interpreted by many, including Nigel Farage, as a broader claim about the migrant demographic. Farage posted a clip of the exchange writing that Labour's Darren Jones claims the majority of illegal migrant crossings at Dover are children, babies and women, calling this simply not true. In response to the backlash, Jones later clarified that he had been referring to a specific visit and not the overall data. He told the media it had been clipped by Reform in a particular way, and if you look at the whole conversation, he wasn't referring to the whole number of people being a majority of women and babies, but was telling a story about a visit to the Border Security Command. However, recent Home Office statistics make the overall picture clear. Of the 36,816 people who arrived by small boat in 2024, 73% or 26,999 were adult males. This figure directly contradicts any impression that women and children make up the majority of those arriving. The government's official position remains that people smuggling gangs are the core problem and efforts are underway to dismantle their operations. A Home Office spokesperson said they all want to end dangerous small boat crossings which threaten lives and undermine border security. The people smuggling gangs do not care if the vulnerable people they exploit live or die as long as they pay, which is why this government has put together a serious plan to take down these networks at every stage. With crossings continuing and numbers mounting, critics argue that tough talk from Starmer must now be matched with visible and immediate action, especially as the government approaches its first full year in office.